I want you to meet Martha. Martha is a mother of two, and she is a refugee seeking asylum in the United States. She's been living and working here for a number of years, and while her children are citizens, Martha is not. One day, Martha is suddenly deported. She is arrested and forcibly separated from her children. This is tragic. What will happen to Martha's children, left alone to survive without their mother? How can Martha pass on bank account information, identification cards, power of attorney, and other legal documents that could help her children to survive without her? There's a little bit of a dilemma here. You see, Martha cannot store these documents in any place where the government can access it, so as not to implicate her. So banks and post offices are just totally out of the question. Also, websites like Google Drive and Dropbox will not work because these sites can read or delete your data basically without your permission. They're basically working with the government. And finally, Martha cannot just give this information to somebody else. What if that person gets arrested? Or what if that person decides to take her information ahead of time? So how can Martha store her documents without trusting any third parties? The answer to this question holds the key to the future of the internet. By leveraging new technologies like blockchain and decentralized databases, Martha can secure this data with encryption keys that are known only to her daughters, and then store this encrypted data in a decentralized database that is censorship-proof and is not controlled by any government entity or corporation. Myself and a group of researchers are working with the United We Dream Foundation to make this a possibility. And this technology is not only useful for serious issues like immigration, it could also be used for casual things like games or chat applications. I want to tell you a little bit about the internet. When the founders of the internet got together, they had a dream and a vision that every single person in the world would be connected to everybody else, and each one of us would have total control of who we were and what we could do on the internet. It was around 1995. And the first wave of the internet was upon us. At this time, most websites were flat static pages. All you had was a home page, about us page, contact us form, and there were only about 45 million people on the internet. For perspective, that was less than 1% of the global population at the time. And even fewer people knew how to make websites. In fact, if you knew how to make a website in 1996, you would be considered a genius. You would drop out of school and you would be paid extreme amounts of money to make some company's homepage. But then, eventually, more and more people started to learn how to make websites, and these newly minted software engineers had some brilliant ideas. They thought, hey, instead of just accepting whatever information I read on the internet, what if I can contribute my own knowledge and my own ideas to the rest of the world? What if, instead of just one person making a website for everybody else, what if we could build the internet together? These ideas were powerful and profound, and they helped give rise to the current internet, the internet as we know it today. And we call this era Web 2.0, and it's all about sharing. From status updates to baby pictures, restaurant reviews, even physical property like homes and cars, we are now hyper-connected. And most importantly, we went from 1% of the world having access to the internet to now over 50% of the world having access to the internet. This has changed our human existence in very fundamental ways. Now, a software engineer in rural India can work full-time for a startup in San Francisco. Civil rights activists in Egypt can hook up with like-minded individuals in London and start a political movement. Young girls in Africa can study math at Harvard and Stanford without ever leaving their home. We're living in a truly global world. So, voila, we have reached the goal, right? We have achieved the dream of the founders of the internet. Well, not so fast. While we've come a long way towards achieving the dream of the founders of the internet, we still fall short in a few ways. One example is data sovereignty. So let me ask you a question. When you post that baby picture onto Facebook, who owns that version of the baby picture? Right? Is it yours or is it Facebook's? Or what about the driving directions or your search history that you looked up on Google? Who owns that? Is it yours or is it Google's? The answer is that Facebook and Google basically control all of the data that you generate on their platform. This means that for most people, they don't even own their own internet identity. These companies can edit, duplicate, monetize your data in any way they see fit. And what about international money transfer? How come it's so easy to send text messages and videos to Nigeria, but we still have to rely on Western Union to send money? I mean, money is just a set of numbers in a database, just like a text message is just a set of letters in a database. So why the difference? And another example is censorship. For most of us, the internet is a bastion of free speech. But routinely, governments will insert themselves when it fits their agenda. Citizens in China cannot visit any website on the country's ban list. The US military bans its personnel from visiting certain news sites. Countries like Syria, Cuba, and Chad will sometimes unplug the entire internet just so their citizens can't communicate with each other. The fact is, we are not living up to the dream of the internet. So how do we solve this? We solve this. The answer to this question lies in the next generation of the web, which is Web 3, right? And Web 3 is an era where money will be able to travel across borders freely and seamlessly, where everyone will have total right and access to the internet, and everyone will have full control of their own internet identity. And Web 3 is powered by one central idea. That idea is transparency. Transparency powered by a technology of blockchain. So what is a blockchain? A blockchain is basically a peer-to-peer database where each participant in the network maintains a record of everything that's ever happened in that network. This means that everybody can see what's going on, but no one entity can control the network. Blockchains were invented by an anonymous individual named Satoshi Nakamoto, who simultaneously also invented Bitcoin. Now, nobody knows if Satoshi is a real person or not, but either way, we cannot ignore Satoshi's contributions to the future of the internet. Thanks to blockchain, you're going to be able to send money to Mexico without Western Union. Instead of giving out your data for free, you're going to be able to sell your data directly to the advertisers and keep a profit. And governments will find it much harder to censor the internet. Web 3 is an amazing future full of opportunities. So you may be asking yourself, how can I participate? How can I be a part of this? Well, the first step is to get educated. I encourage you to go home, read an article, watch a YouTube video, learn about blockchain technology and its implications for the future. Also, talk to a friend, join a discussion on your favorite social media network. And if you're a software developer, learn how to build decentralized applications now and bring us all one step closer from an internet of I to an internet of we. Thank you.